Hey everyone, this is Phillip. This is an interesting video because as on this channel you guys can see, I typically don't post videos like this where you can see my face. You usually just see me drawing and stuff like that, and I haven't done that in a long time. But today I actually want to talk about a video segment that my sister actually gave me as an idea. This is a segment I would like to call Things I Wish I Had Known. So what we're going to do is actually look at different portions of my life, and in those portions and these time periods, things I wish I had known to do to set myself up for the future, or to just enjoy in that time of my life. They say hindsight is 2020, and so that's basically what we're gonna do. We're just gonna come into my brain, my thought process, and see what young Philip should have done to set himself up for that moment or in the future. So let's get started. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is the stock market. I wish I'd known how beneficial the stock market could be for someone starting off young and starting to understand what investing was. I wish I jumped into it just when I turned 18, which is when you can actually participate personally yourself into the stock market. I wish I'd known to start studying up on companies. I wish I'd known to start setting aside some of that financial aid money that most of us got, or some of us got, and actually started investing for the future. I wish I had given myself the challenge of like, hey, what if I set aside, let's say, $100 or $500 when I turned 18, and see what happens once I graduate. So on my graduation day, that's when I can sell, or at least look at my portfolio and see what how that money actually grew. And so knowing that, I think a lot of us would have been very, very wealthy if we had started. They say like in every generation there's that one or two stocks that just propel or define that generation, right? Back then it used to be Apple or Amazon, and now look how big these companies are. Now I think some of the stocks that really we have to look forward to, by the way, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not a stockbroker or anything like that, so this is just my personal opinion. Some of the stocks that I really thought were going to be like huge in the future are electric vehicle stocks, battery technology stocks, mineral stocks. It's just all of these stocks that are looking into the future, forward thinking. You could also look in the digital side of it, right? The streaming stocks like Netflix and Disney Plus. And then also, I think there's one stock that I'm trying to remember. The renewable energy stocks. So whatever stocks that have some sort of renewable energy, that may be solar, that may be wind, that may be, I think that's it. Solar and wind are usually, I think those are the ones that I can think of. There's probably more, right? And that's the beautiful thing, right? In our generation, information is readily available for us. Google is huge. Everyone can just look on there and find information. And so ultimately, I wish I had taken advantage of the stock market in the beginning. But, you live and you learn. I'm now an active practicer. I like to say it that way because I want to get into that position in my life where I can say, okay, this is a stock I want to go in on. These are the set of stocks that I want to go in on, and then see where that goes. But first off, the stock market. I think the second one that I would love to have known when I was younger is ultimately, or when I was in college specifically, is a different program. I wish I had learned some sort of program or some sort of extra skill. So when I went to college, I studied civil engineering, and that was my undergrad. And so in that time, I could have been studying other things that were beneficial, or maybe even considered hobbies for what people do, right? A lot of people have some side businesses that they are taking, wedding videos. They're photographers themselves. They're data entry people. They're just doing things that are extra, that are beyond what they went to college for, and they're making good money on that. And so ultimately, if I had known to maybe practice programs like Premiere Pro for video editing, or even another engineering like CAD, and been able to master those in some level, that would have been ideal, because it would have set me up in some way, shape, or form to have maybe a side gig somewhere where I could have been earning a little bit extra money even while I was going to college. Um, Fun fact, a lot of these colleges have great licenses in their library programs where you can actually go and utilize the programs like Premiere Pro or whatever for free because you're a student there, and they're downloaded on basically all of the computers, or at least they have them on some shared drive that you can access, but you have access to them as a student, so definitely go check that out. In college, I wish I had traveled more. I went to a summer training program with the Navigators, which is a Christian group on many campuses around the country. But yeah, there was one chapter on my campus. We went to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, which is pretty interesting because I would have never picked that for some sort of retreat, which is basically what this was. It was like almost like a camp for college students. And so ultimately there we learned about the Bible, we prayed, we built community. It was awesome. We drove there, and I'm in Jacksonville, around Jacksonville, Florida, all the way up to Tennessee. That's a 9-10 hour drive. I loved it. I enjoyed the scenery. It was beautiful. I was with one of the friends that I had at that time. We drove together. It was beautiful. Just getting to see the scenery, getting to see the mountains. Just, I honestly feel like those mountains and those roads were actually built with some architectural eye to them. No, it's just not, just a road. They actually wanted some sort of beautiful experience so that the people who drove through Tennessee or through those mountain ranges would be awed by what this land has to offer. And those are the things I wish I had done. The next time I actually went, so that was 2014, the next time I went on a trip in America was in 2018. Yeah, 2018. And even then, that was beautiful itself. But that was years, right? There were so many years in between. One thing I learned was I used to visit my friend in Orlando, and the Amtrak, the train system, was basically $44 going down there and then $44 coming back. So an $88 round trip. I personally don't have a car, so that was basically going to be my only option, versus flying or riding Greyhound. And that time, the time it takes for you, me to go from Jacksonville to Orlando, was actually just 2 hours, which is basically the same amount of time that it would take to drive. And they did multiple stops. They stopped in like Fort Lauderdale, Florida. They stopped in Palaca, I believe. They just had several stops, and ultimately for $44 one way, and then $44 back. That is perfect, basically. So highly recommend. Look at if your friends are in different states, cities. Don't let it deter you from actually visiting them. If you don't have a car or anything like that, you can make it. Another thing I wish I had known to do while I was in college was how actually to save money. So, I, being young, just not really understanding what money was, and let's say how important money is. I know what money is, but understanding how important it is and how important it is to keep, that is very important. If you, again, as we were talking about with the stock market, if you can set yourself up beautifully so that when you get out of college, you probably don't even have any debt, or when you get out of college, you have some sort of down payment for some apartments that you can just move in to wherever it is, right? You don't have to sit here and say, okay, I gotta go back to my parents' house and then save. You have the money ready to go. And so highly recommend that you learn budgeting, you learn how to save money. The thing I can really recommend is Dave Ramsey's baby step program. Dave Ramsey, he was a real estate guy, like just having all these properties everywhere, making tons of money, but he was doing it on debt. And so the bank that he was with, I believe the story goes that the bank switched. A different bank acquired all of his notes, and they decided to call all his notes. So he had to pay all of that back, all the amount of money. He at this time, he was theoretically a millionaire, and he had to sell everything. And he had a wife, and I don't know how many kids he had. And so, as you can imagine, that demoralized him when he's like, okay, I basically have to restart right now. He filed for bankruptcy, had to restart. and he's like, how do I actually manage money well? So he started with the baby step program and the every dollar app that you can download to help track your finances. And you basically set yourself up to, if you're in debt, to get out of debt, and if you're not in debt, to set yourself up for a future where you can retire comfortably. You can all literally retire a millionaire is the idea that he propagates, is buying everything not on credit and trying to buy everything except your house through cash. And so that's the idea that I wish I had known when I was in college, because ultimately I would have been able to save money. I would have been able to set myself up beautifully so that 4 years, 5 years and down the line, I could have something to walk into life with instead of nothing. Because I'm not kidding you, when I walked out of college, I owed about $250. I came out of college negative. That's how bad it was. And so thank God that he got me out of that mess. But yeah, the last thing that I wish I had not done more, it was just hilarious, right? It's like things I wish I had known. The last thing I wish I had not done a lot of is play the amount of video games that I played. I played so many video games, and I had friends to do it with, so but sometimes I played by myself. But video games, I was surrounded by them. I surrounded myself with them. They were the things that I found comfort and joy in, and definitely enjoyed, but that's basically all I did. And I regret it, because there were many times where I could have hung out with friends, I could have gone on specific trips, I could have watched movies I could have done anything else rather than play video games, but that's what I chose to do. And so again, that ate into so much time where I could have been learning a new skill, I could have been learning a new program, and that now I regret. Right now I can sit here and say, okay, if I want to start something, I gotta fit it into some sort of schedule in my life, and that's definitely much more difficult. One thing I know in college is you have so much time. You have to figure out what you want to do with that, because you won't have all that time, and that's not a bad thing, right? You will learn how to enjoy what you do in life, the work that you do. But if you have free time, you will definitely now you start thinking, how can I actually use that? So in college, I wish I had taken my free time and actually utilized it correctly and allowed it to actually benefit me, instead of just either be wasted away by video games or by some entertainment, or to not just have been as productive as possible. It may not even have been video games. It might have been I slept more. It might have been I just did not use it correctly, right? So those of you who are in college, please take this opportunity. You will not have it forever. You won't be in college forever. That's what the resentment that I felt is like, oh my goodness, I just don't want to be here. Right now, I'm in a good position. I'm enjoying where I am right now. I believe that God has things that He wants me to accomplish, including this YouTube video, and I'm enjoying just where I am right now. But I can see back in my life where I should have really taken the time to actually enjoy more of that time, or to apply myself even more in those areas of my life where I could have seen in the future, hey, this will benefit me if I set myself up now instead of waiting till later. So I want to leave you guys with that. I want to encourage you guys with that. Go ahead and do it. And then you will you enjoy it. But number two, you will at least not have to think, man, I wish I had done that. That's it. Have a good day. Bye.